And here we go, game number 4 of the day. ChoyafOu as a Protoss player in red spawned at the top right position on Tal'Darim altar. It's the FXOpen King of the hill, and we have game number 4. makaPrime was able to defeat 3 players in a row. So far he seems to be quite in a good shape today and defeating everybody. He was able to throw Supernova out of the competition. He defeated Liquid Huck in the second game, and the Zerg player we saw on Metalopolis wasn't a challenge for him at all. His 15 hatch opening fell victim to the double barracks push of the Terran player, and now ChoyafOu, another Protoss player, will try to defeat makaPrime. makaPrime starting at the bottom left of the map. As you can see, this time he switched colors. He's in teal now, and this is going to be quite interesting. I actually think that makaPrime is in really good shape today, and ChoyafOu will have his work cut out for him if he wants to defeat his opponent. It's a really huge map. Tal'Darim altar is a map that's, well, it's a very, very good map for a Terran versus Protoss. It depends a little bit on the strategies the players play. You can fast expand quite easily on the map. Doesn't matter if you're a Terran or a Protoss player. The distances between the maps are fairly huge. We already have makaPrime trying to wall off that entrance to his base, but as you can see, the second base is accessible quite easily for both players. You only have to basically wall off at this position as well. And the thing is that if a Terran player is going for a marine and tank push, then he can, for example, siege up at the bottom of the cliff and with the Medivacs get some sight, or just use a scan and put pressure on the expansion of his opponent. So Terran might have a small edge over his opponent on that map, but in the end it's a very, very good map for a Terran versus Protoss. The Protoss player can get his first base quite easily as well. As you can see, ChoyafOu is playing quite risky right now. He is playing his Nexus before he is going to get the first gateway. Now the first gateway is being warped in, and we have the Terran player scouting as well as the Protoss player. The third base is easily accessible as well. As you can see, you only have to destroy those rocks over there, and of course for a Terran player it's always, or not only for a Terran player but also for a Protoss player, it's always nice to have a third base. You can get a lot more tech than you would be able on 2 bases. And this is a matchup that's affected by the patch quite a lot, because right now Archons are so much better, and a lot of people keep telling me that Archons are way overpowered against the Protoss right now. The thing is that Blizzard didn't only make them to be massive units, and this sounds like a really, really small change, and some people will ask themselves, okay, they are a massive unit now, what's the big deal? The big deal is that massive units can't be slowed by concussive shells, and Terran players used to play a lot of bio. They used to play a Marine Marauder combination with Medivacs and Vikings against Colossi, against everything that a Protoss player could throw against them. And the thing is, with Archons being massive units, they can't be slowed by the concussive shells and are therefore a lot more effective against bio, especially because they deal a small splash damage and extra damage against bio units. And Blizzard didn't only make them heavy. Make them. Now I'm lacking the word. This is quite embarrassing. Massive units, but they also increased the range of the Archons from 2 to 3. So this is quite a lot. And it makes the whole tech tree a lot more viable, because right now you can tech for Dark Templars, and if you don't succeed in doing a lot of pressure with the Dark Templars, you can just morph them into Archons. You can go for the High Templars as well, use Storm. And after Blizzard removed the Kadaran Amulet, a lot of Protoss players didn't like to play with the High Templars anymore, because it was just one thing that was really, really weird for them. They needed a lot of time in order to get enough energy for the storm. They couldn't just warp in and get the instant storm. So therefore, High Templars weren't played that often. Players like Robbie, for example, especially at the Copenhagen game, still relied on the storm play, but used it a little bit more for offensive reasons instead for a defensive play. But now it's quite a valid option. You can get a lot of those High Templars. You can use the storm offensively, and as soon as your Templars are without energy, just morph them into Archons and have quite a strong weapon against the bio army. So we will see in the next few weeks if the Protoss players are actually opting a little bit more for the Templar tech tree, or if they will rely on the Colossi once again. The changes done by Blizzard were I think they might have overdone it a little bit with the Archons, but we will see about that. It's a little bit too early to tell. But in regards to the Zerg, I don't like all of the changes. I actually like the Spore Crawler change, so that you're a little bit more flexible against air attacks of your opponent. Zerg has a really weak anti-air early game. They only have the queens, and usually we don't only get 2 or 3 queens in the early stage of the game. But nonetheless, let's focus a little bit on ChoyafOu against makaPrime, and makaPrime will try to win the 4th game as well. And let's have a look at the numbers. We have 20 to 29 army supply right now. There's a huge buyer push coming in from makaPrime, whereas the worker count is in favor of the Protoss player. As you can see, the Terran player cut worker production when he was on 20 supply, and well, makaPrime is once again playing very offensive. In the meantime, we have the Protoss player trying to warp in those sentries, and where are the force fields? He's in a little bit of a trouble. He played 4 bases. He's made an expansion and 4 gateways, so not 4 bases, 4 gates, and here comes the attack of the Terran player. Immediately all those probes are swarming in order to help out the army of the Protoss player. Very nice force field by the Protoss. Awesome. This is done so well by ChoyafOu, and he will be able to defeat that attack. And now he's way ahead. He is way ahead in this game. His economy is so good right now. He has a lot of probes. He has a lot of income. And as you can see, makaPrime knows that his 1 base attack failed. He types GG, and ChoyafOu was able to defeat makaPrime after the Terran player basically raped 3 of the previous players. Good job by ChoyafOu, and we will see him in the next game of the FXOpen King of the Hill.